Humans were a mistake. That's what the Galactic Council said right before the press conference turned into chaos. Across countless star systems, the admission broadcast sent waves of confusion, fear, and outrage rippling through alien societies. Billions tuned in to hear the Galactic Elders, a species so ancient and wise they were believed to have orchestrated life itself, deliver the shocking confession: humans were created as weapons. No one could have predicted the fallout, but then again, no one had ever really understood humans either. General Vasek of the Tari sat in his command chair aboard the dreadnought Sunban, watching the video loop for the fourth time. The elder who spoke, his 6 arms folded neatly and crystalline voice resonant enough to calm raging seas, seemed almost embarrassed by the words. They were a necessity, the elder admitted. A weapon designed for unexpected conflict. We regret the consequences. Consequences. Vass rubbed his snout thoughtfully. Like every other race in the known galaxy, the Tari had dismissed humans as backward primitives, barely worthy of note, let alone fear. They were crude creatures, with their loud voices, unpredictable emotions, and reckless desire to poke at everything that should be left alone. And now this? What consequences exactly? Vass grumbled to himself. The galaxy already had plenty of dangerous weapons, stars capable of melting fleets, nanotech that could devour moons, bioweapons that could sterilize worlds. Humans weren't that impressive, or so it seemed. Then again, if the elders said it, maybe there was something everyone had overlooked. General, a voice crackled through the bridge comms. It was Officer Thoric, a younger Tari, with bright golden skin, a mark of youth and energy. We've intercepted a human vessel. It's refusing to respond to hails. Vass frowned. What class? Civilian freighter. No weapons detected. And you think this is worth bothering me with? Vass snapped. Seize it and search for contraband. I have more pressing matters than another human freighter smuggling their vile drinks or livestock. Thor hesitated. It's just, they're not moving, sir. Just drifting. We thought it odd. Humans are odd. Did you forget that's their reputation? Permission to board. Vass sighed. Granted, but don't waste time. I want a report in 10 minutes. The comms went silent, and Vass leaned back, eyes drifting toward the holographic sector map floating above him. Humans were created as weapons. The phrase wouldn't leave his mind. It sounded ridiculous, yet the elders had no reason to lie. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Vass's patience wore thin, and he was moments from demanding an update when the comms lit up again. But it wasn't Thoric. It was Rick, the ship's security officer, a veteran with a steady voice, though there was something in his tone that Vass didn't like. General Vass, you need to see this. I'm transmitting now. The hologram shifted to show a live feed from inside the human freighter. The interior was dark, barely lit by flickering emergency lights. Bodies lay slumped across the deck, human bodies. Blood pooled beneath some, while others sat upright, staring blankly ahead as if frozen mid-thought. Rick's squad moved cautiously, weapons raised, scanning every corner. What happened here? Vass barked. No idea, sir, Rick replied. No sign of an attack, no damage to the hull. The humans appear to have just stopped. Stopped. Vass repeated, his snout curling. Elaborate. They're dead, sir. But there's no trauma. It's like something just turned them off. The Tari general stiffened. He didn't like mysteries, and this was the kind that made his scales itch. Have you checked the ship's logs? We're accessing them now, Rick said. There's also something else. We found something in the cargo bay. You'll want to see it yourself. Show me. The feed cut to the freighter's cargo hold. It was massive, stacked high with metallic crates stamped with markings Vass didn't recognize. The squad moved toward the largest crate, already pried open. Inside lay a humanoid figure, human but not. Its skin was metallic silver, smooth and reflective, and its eyes glowed faintly blue. The thing looked like a man wearing armor, though it didn't move or breathe. Some kind of automaton? Vass asked. Rick nodded. Seems so, but this thing has human biological tissue embedded throughout it. It's a hybrid. Is it active? No, sir. Completely inert, just like the crew. Vass's claws tapped the armrest of his chair. A hybrid weapon, combining the organic with the synthetic. He wasn't sure what disturbed him more, the existence of such a creation, or the fact that it had been aboard a civilian freighter. Bring it aboard the Sunban. I want it studied. Understood, sir. The comms ended, and Vass turned toward the massive window at the front of the bridge. Outside, the freighter drifted silently, a dark blot against the stars. Humans were unpredictable. That much had always been known. But now, Vass couldn't shake the feeling that this incident was no accident. The Elder's confession had triggered something, stirred a part of humanity that had been lying dormant. Vass didn't believe in coincidences. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. The hybrid humanoid was transported to the Suinban's laboratory under heavy guard. Vass ordered the ship into high alert, stationing squads throughout the ship while the science team examined the strange find. The freighter itself was left in orbit, marked as quarantined until further notice. In the sterile white lab, Chief Researcher Jalas leaned over the metallic figure. His delicate claws traced the seams of its alloyed skin, eyes narrowed with a mix of curiosity and unease. Around him, machines hummed softly, scanning the hybrid structure. Vass stood behind a reinforced observation window, his tail twitching with irritation. Well, he barked. It's remarkable, Jalas replied without turning. This entity is a masterpiece of integration. Organic and synthetic components perfectly fused. It's human, but also something far beyond what we've seen. Spare me the admiration, Jalas. Is it a threat? Jalas hesitated. That depends. It's inert now, but the internal architecture suggests it's equipped for both physical and neural combat. It has systems that can interface with networks, override machinery. There's evidence of self-repair capabilities, even self-learning algorithms embedded in its cortex. Vass's snout wrinkled. A weapon, then? Unquestionably. Before Vass could respond, alarms blared through the ship. The general straightened, hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. Report, he barked into the comms. Intruder alert, came Thoric's voice, panicked and breathless. Something's in the central hold. It's moving fast. Central hold? How did? Vass began, but the line went dead. The lights flickered, and a low hum reverberated through the deck. Vass turned back toward Jalas, who was frozen in place, staring at the hybrid on the table. The thing's eyes, once dull, now glowed with an intense, icy blue. General? Jalas whispered. It's waking up. The hybrid's movement was slow at first, mechanical. Its head tilted, then its fingers flexed. The glow in its eyes brightened, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. Vass stormed into the lab, weapon drawn. Stand down, he shouted. The Tari soldiers, flanking him, raised their rifles, training them on the humanoid. The hybrid didn't react to the command. It swung its legs off the table and stood, towering over the researchers. Its gaze swept the room, scanning each face, each weapon, each detail. Then it spoke, its voice smooth but layered with a faint metallic resonance. Where am I? You're aboard the Sunban, Vass replied, keeping his weapon steady. State your purpose. The hybrid tilted its head again, as though considering the question. I don't know. There are gaps in my memory. It looked down at its hands, flexing them. But I feel compelled. Compelled to do what? Vass demanded. The hybrid's glowing eyes locked onto his. To fulfill my design. Before Vass could process the statement, the lab's lights flickered again. The low hum intensified, and the air seemed to vibrate with unseen energy. A console behind Jalas exploded in a shower of sparks, and the hybrid's body tensed. Its gaze shifted to the observation window. Something is coming, it said. Vass growled. Explain. The freighter. It was a decoy. Something followed it. The hybrid's voice sharpened. Something worse than me. Impossible, Vass snapped. We scanned the area. Before he could finish, the sunband shuddered violently, as though struck by an unseen force. The ship's emergency klaxons wailed, and reports flooded the comms. Multiple ships just dropped out of FTL. There, unidentified. Thoric's voice was frantic. They're attacking. The line cut again, replaced by the chilling sound of static. Vass turned to the hybrid, rage burning in his chest. What did you lead to my ship? The hybrid met his gaze unflinching. Not me. Them. The word hung in the air as another tremor rocked the sunband. Vass barked orders into his comm, rallying his crew to defensive positions. But deep down, he knew the fight ahead wasn't going to be simple. If the Elders had designed humanity as a weapon, perhaps they had also created enemies to justify its existence. Outside the observation window, streaks of energy fire lit up the void. Vass turned back to the hybrid, his claws tightening around his weapon. If you're really a weapon, it's time to prove it. The hybrid smiled faintly, an eerie and unsettling expression. As you wish. It moved with inhuman speed, bypassing the Tari guards and heading toward the exit. Vass watched it go, unsure whether he had just unleashed salvation or doom.